It's a safe place. You know, you get fed. You know, you got a roof over your head. These are the nicest people, you know, I've met since I've been, you know, living up here.
Kevin Miller is a veteran who served briefly in 1979 and 80, then was discharged for medical reasons. He's a resident at the Salvation Army's homeless shelter.
I used to live in Abbeville, and I ended up being homeless. So to have a place to stay, I stopped the nearest cop and told him I was, you know, wanting to harm myself.
He was in a very negative place and was suicidal when he came in part because his son had just passed away.
If it wouldn't be for these people, my plans were to go and meet him. You know, so the staff here took me out of that negative funk and gave me hope and reason, you know, to live.
The shelter has 2 programs for veterans, one for homeless vets and one for vets with substance abuse problems. There is a VA social worker who helps the vets with case management. There's a transient program and one called Next Step for the general homeless population. Major Tim Williford is the head of Alexandria's Salvation Army. He talks about the motivation for helping the homeless of Cenla.
Jesus said if you give a cup of cold water in His name to someone that's thirsty, that you've given it to Him.
There are more than 40 beds at the shelter, but it's operating at only 50% capacity ever since COVID hit. The VA pays $65 to $72 per night for veterans, and for the rest of the residents, it costs them $12 per night. The daily fee encourages the men to get a job.
So we really feel like that if we didn't have them contributing something, you know, to their staying here, it would just, I'd have, you know, hundreds of people who would just want to come here and live and never really do anything.
February 4th, they broke ground on a new $5.2 million facility. After being sponsored locally by Red River Bank, the Salvation Army was able to get a $750,000 grant for the project from the Federal Home Loan Bank of Dallas. The rest of the money has come from donations.
There's some very, very kind people in the community that have given us millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then we have other people in the community that have given us like 10, 15,000. We have some people who have pledged $100 a month for 5 years. So, and I will tell you that those people who have donated $100 a month for 5 years, to me, they're just as important as the person that gave me, you know, $1 million.
This will be the new Salvation Army homeless shelter. The 19,000 square foot building will hold 49 beds, 17 male veterans beds, and for the first time in 30 years, 32 women's and children's beds. The long-term plan is to sell the current shelter as well as a warehouse. But at first, both shelters will be operational until they are able to do a $1 million expansion on the new shelter and add 20 male beds. Williford describes the feeling of seeing a homeless person get back on their feet.
It's really gratifying when you see somebody who has a housing issue and they come here and they're able to get they're self-established and out back and to the public and paying rent and paying taxes. And
Miller appreciates the help he and others like him have received.
They do a lot of good for not just veterans, but transients too, you know. They give them a place to be able to sleep, you know, instead of under a bridge or in the woods. You know, so these people are really making a difference.
Joel Massey, ABC 31 News that works for you.